Yes, Jenny, I am aware of the findings of this report, which I don't actually think relate to Blackfriars. It's not one of the bridges that's actually mentioned in the report as being suitable for 20 mile an hour speed limit, as I understand things. On the speed at Blackfriars Bridge, my information is that the maximum, the general speed there is in fact nearer 12 miles an hour. Therefore, a speed limit of 20 isn't necessary and could be a serious impediment to smooth traffic flow. So I'm not convinced of the case for this. I understand why you're pursuing it with such vigor. What I do think is that more work needs to be done on cycling over Blackfriars Bridge and over the accessibility of cycling over Blackfriars Bridge. And speaking as someone who uses that route the whole time, I'm very much familiar with the problems of the cyclist on Blackfriars Bridge, and I'm working with TfL to try and sort it out.
Thank you for that answer. In the report that was produced in December 2008, it does in fact say, there's lots of tables and information, facts and figures here. It says Table 11 shows that reducing speeds on bridges gives cumulative effects over 6 years at 7 sites, with Putney Bridge giving the best returns. And the top 4 bridges have a higher collision rate when compared with the average. And so they recommend Putney, Vauxhall, London and Westminster as bridges that are totally suitable and will actually pay their way in terms of saving lives and the emergency services.
Yeah.
Collisions that cause congestion, because collisions are actually the biggest cause of congestion. So if you want to smooth traffic flow, you've got to get rid of that cause of congestion.
No, that's a very good point.
Will you consider 20 miles an hour for those bridges?
Obviously, I'll look at any proposal that will smooth traffic flow. Obviously, at the moment, we're having a very good record in reducing KSIs in London, though I think
they've actually gone up, haven't they?
The slight injuries have gone up, but KSIs continue. I think KSIs are down 13% this year on last year, and they were down 30% the last year on the previous year. So actually, we're doing very, very well in reducing KSIs. There is an increase, a small increase in slight injuries, and we'll come to that, and the reasons for that, or the mystery about that, we'll come to that later. But on the 20 mile an hour limits over the bridges, I'll look at anything. I'm told, my advice is from the traffic engineers, that this would not be a good way forward. It would lead to increased congestion.
What about, are you saying this report is wrong? This was produced by TfL and handed to you in December. Are you saying it's wrong?
It was actually, I'm afraid to say, it was actually produced under the previous regime. And handed to the previous mayor, who did nothing about it. But I'm told that it does not represent the best advice, and therefore I'm not pursuing.
It's your term. It was delivered to you 7 months into your term of office.
Well, I'm informed it was an emanation of the previous. I'm informed it was an emanation of the previous administration, and that it is no longer thought to be a good
cycling
way
numbers
forward.
are up even more since this was produced. So you have even more cyclists and more pedestrians on those bridges. So surely this report is actually more valid now than in 2008.
I think it is a very great credit to everybody who's been working on cycling in London. That numbers, the percentage of people cycling has gone up hugely just in 1 year, 15%. We got up 15% in 1 year in cycling London. It's an incredible achievement. It's absolutely true.
You concentrate on
even
the question.
Val has been on a bike now and then.
Mr. Mayor.
And it is a fantastic, and in spite of that, the numbers of KSIs, the numbers of accidents, the numbers of fatalities has come down.
Mr. Mayor, I've had to stop the clock because you are not answering Assemblymember
I've answered her
Jones's
question.
No.
I have. My answer is, I'm interested in this report. I'm not content that this is the best advice. We're not pursuing it.
Well, okay. In that case, could you please give the Assembly an explanation, a short report of where you think it's wrong, where you think it could be improved? Could you do that for us so that
I've given you a very short explanation, which is that I don't think that the 20 mile an hour speed limit is appropriate to Blackfriars. and my information is that it would not be successful in managing traffic flow in the other locations that you wanted, and therefore it is not something that we're pursuing at the moment.
But this report presumably was done by your best minds at TfL, and I would like to know why you don't think it's a good report. Can you please give us a
Well,
little explanation?
I'll be very happy to send you a letter
Okay,
Johnny,
fine.
detailing
Thank you.
your...
Thank you. Assemblymember Malthouse.
No, I haven't finished on this. And also, can you please commit, can you say now that TfL will not stop any boroughs who want to do this?
It's always been my position, and you and I have discussed this at length over the last 3 years. It's always been my position that where boroughs actively want to have a 20-mile-an-hour zone, and that has full local support, cross-party local support, everybody wants a 20-mile-an-hour zone, then of course we won't interfere with that.
But you did actually.
Provided they're funded themselves.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? Because when Southwark came to you under a Lib Dem Tory administration and asked you to give them enough funds to put in 20 miles an hour default because they believed it was the best for their residents, you refused. And in fact, it's always more cost-effective to do these things wholemeal than it is to do them piecemeal. So now Southwark
mean
is
like a
having to do it
biscuit?
piecemeal.
Assemblymember Jones, you're finished now because you're out of time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Assemblymember Malthouse.